Action Comics 979, Dan Jurgens writing, Patrick Zurcher on art. This is, well, it's the next part of the same arc, but it also kind of feels like the last two were like the setup. It felt like it was a two-part prologue to this
Yeah,
arc
this is technically still technically a new arc
Yeah,
because this is Revenge Part One.
yeah, yeah.
But like I say, because we were establishing the Revenge Squad in the last little bit, it does feel like no, that was just part of this still.
Yeah, so basically Eradicator goes and gets Mongol, who's still wrapped up in Black Mercy from Trinity, might we add,
Yeah,
uh, and gets him on team, and they go and steal, what was the name of the stone? The Oblivion Stone?
I think so. Yes,
Obliv-
Oblivion Stone.
Yeah, it was in Superman's Himalayas fortress, and some of Superman's like sort of alien friends who can't leave the fortress because they can't breathe on Earth. They try and protect it, but unfortunately get killed. Blank and Eradicator and Mongol make short work of them, and they take the stone to Henshaw. And then this is when things get really weird. Henshaw puts the two parts of the stone. He's already got the other half. He puts them together, and he becomes Cyborg Superman. Not to be confused with Zor-El's Cyborg Superman, who looks almost identical to him. He is the classic Cyborg Superman, and he knows he used to be this. He's like, oh, I want to make myself what I was. I want to be like who I was.
Yeah, obviously we established in the last couple of issues that Death of Superman did happen, and Cyborg Superman at least was there.
But it wasn't
And
Zor-El.
no, because we questioned
Yeah,
that in the issue, didn't we? We were
yeah,
like, oh, okay.
it was
But
him.
no, this sets up it was him. So
So we have two
we've got
Cyborg
two.
Superman.
Oh man, they need to do a team up.
One of them needs to get a slightly different costume just so I can tell them apart because they do look identical.
They do, yes.
And he makes Mongol like kneel down and kiss his wrist because Mongol's like, you should bow before me, human, and kiss my feet or whatever. And then Henshaw becomes Cyborg Superman and makes him do it. So we have a full revenge squad of Cyborg Superman, Mongol, Blank, Metallo, and is that it?
Eradicator.
Eradicator, yeah, that was the one I was missing. Yeah, so we have all them. Meanwhile, Clark and Lois are buying an apartment in the city, which obviously I feel like that'll spin out of the end of the current Superman arc when we find out why they need to leave.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much. I mean, they do give enough reasons why they need to leave here anyway. Like, it's not that they need to leave; it's just that
oh
they
sure,
want to come back to the city.
but I'm pretty sure in Superman they're going to have a definitive we need to leave this town at least, even if we don't go to the city, like we have to leave Hamilton.
Yeah, probably. Given the last issue of Superman, I feel like it has to.
Yeah, that just makes a lot of sense. So they're looking at the apartment and they're like talking about, oh, I can have access to the roof so I can fly off without being seen. John will have his own room, blah 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 blah, all your normal things. And then Superman gets he gets a call from the fortress basically in the Himalayas, and he flies off. Actually, one of my favorite bits of art in the book is when he's flying to the Himalayas. There's a cool classic. Running down the alleyway, opening the shirt up, which I really like, obviously, because it's
Yeah.
classic Superman. Um, After he's been bickering with Lois about running off and stuff in the house, but he flies off, and I love there's a page where it's like just like it's four kind of almost cinema shaped panels of him flying, and each one's over a completely different location. The first one's over the sea, second one's over a desert, and then the third one's over like snowy mountains, and I just like
Yeah,
that
no, I agree.
the globe spanning kind of simplicity of it. It's really
I
cool.
love the page in between those two as well. You know, where it's the head on shot of him flying up in the air,
With
just
the
leaving
city.
Metropolis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with the city behind him. Yeah,
yeah. So that's just fantastic for this stuff.
yeah, it really good. And it was funny because see before you got to the fortress at the Himalayas and it's all trashed, I was like, yeah, why didn't you like come get the stone and your friends and stuff? And then it reminded me once he got here that he didn't know about this. This all happened without him knowing. And Kalex told him it was fine, but it was forced by Blank. So
Yeah.
it made more sense once he got back. But for a split second, I was like, wait, why did he leave all these people here anyway? This is weird. But no, that makes sense. That's fair.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all the villains are hanging out in Batman's moon base. Bruce is going to be pissed when he finds out about that.
I love that this moon base is such a thing now.
I know, it's great.
Like it's just so well established, and it's every time we've seen it, it's been in the
Yeah.
Superman books.
And not even that. We have this ongoing thing where Lois has like a bat glove that can do like Iron Man esque blasts and shit.
Yeah,
It's
it's
great.
really cool.
She just has it like in the bedside cabinet, just waiting to be used when the occasion calls for it. Dear. By the way, speaking of him becoming Cyborg Superman, I do like the panels of it happening. It's like you can see he's like the skin, like his mouth, the side of his mouth is kind of opening up to reveal the metal.
Yeah, yeah, and he kind of scratches the skin away, doesn't he?
Yeah. Then he rips his own chest skin off to reveal the S, which
Yeah,
pretty out there, but cool.
it is cool.
Uh, yeah. Him and Mongol have a bit of a tussle, and that's kind of it. And we end with the big moment of basically saying, "All right, there's one last teammate we need for this revenge squad. Just one perfect last specimen to complete the Superman villain Justice League, essentially. Zod."
I'm down for this.
Yeah, and I assume he's still with Suicide Squad, or he's locked up with the Suicide Squad because
I believe he's with Suicide Squad. Yeah,
because it says next assault on the Suicide Squad, so they're going to get Zod next issue.
I feel like he's leading the squad at the minute because all that stuff went on with Waller.
Yeah, I do recall.
Yeah, I've not been reading it, but I've hear things here and there, and I think he's leading.
Yeah,
so should be interesting.
So obviously this was more villain focused. It set up the new team, set up Hank Henshaw as this powerful cyborg Superman. Meanwhile, we got the Clark and Lois buying an apartment, and also Clark finds out there is a threat. There is something going on that needs his attention. That's dangerous.
I definitely enjoyed this more than the last issue because it felt like, this is a story now. We've got
yeah.
something to tell.
Oh yeah,
whereas the last issue was, a bit of a mess in that sense.
I did as well. I mean, I really liked the first issue, that two-parter. I liked the first one because of the emotion in it. The second one was a bit more of a murky, or like there's not as much of a story other than building up the team a little bit, and the actual flashbacks we got to his life felt like they murkied the timeline a bit more than the first one did. Whereas here, this is just clearly the start of this story, and so far it's fun stuff. So
yeah, it's looking like it could be a pretty fun story.
Yeah, I'm liking this whole idea of all of his biggest villains all coming together. I mean, Blank is kind of, I guess, the weird one out, because all the other ones I think of as classic Superman villains, whereas Blank feels like a more recent. I mean, I'm sure he's been around for like decades as an obscure character, but like in terms of thinking of a Superman villain, he's a recent one for me.
Yeah, but I guess that makes sense. You got to have one there that's the new one, and maybe some cannon fodder for Zod.
Yeah. So what did Matt think of Action? I wonder. So what is cool is that Jurgens has used the threads from Lois and Clark mini to build a Quagmire. He's also cool that he really gets the Lois and Clark relationship, which he does. Their banter as they're looking at the house and stuff at the start was great. And they're talking about how coming back to city life, they're worried about like John adjusting to city life because he's always been in the country.
Yeah, and you get the idea that they're different backgrounds, her being the military brat, having moved all over, and him being like, nah, I like the one place.
Yeah. All on the fact that my original home was 39 million light years away. But other than that, like, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't count, I don't remember it.
Yeah. But I just like Lois's reaction to that, though. I hate when you try to one-up me. He's Superman, he can one-up everything.
That is true.
He also said, what about Supergirl, Cyborg, Superman? Is he a copy now, or are there other things that can alter reality? I feel like they both exist, but maybe once the timeline reset with Superman Reborn, maybe Supergirl, Cyborg, Superman went away? But I don't know. It'll depend if Supergirl references it soon, I guess.
Maybe. It'd feel weird to undo that story that was the start of her, that was her first rebirth story.
I think there's more. What I've got a funny feeling they might do is they might tie their origins together so they both get created the same way from the same source kind of thing or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. That makes sense.
I can see it.
We'll worry about that later.
Yeah, what about that when they bring it up?